Hey folks, thanks again for tuning in. So today on this video, what I'd like to do is I'm going to inspect for queen rightness. You may have remembered, I believe 2-3 weeks ago, I did a very large removal of bees from underneath the home. It was a fairly large colony removal. I used my bee vac to vacuum up all the bees, but I did not lay my eyes on the queen at the time, and I want to just go ahead and take a quick inspection, and that's pretty much it. So without further ado, check it out. Again, we had about 10 frames of comb that I cut out and I secure in frames. Now, that first interesting observation that I always love seeing is look closely at the entrance. You see what the bees are doing here. They are dragging out the rubber bands because they don't like the rubber bands on the frames, so they will chew them apart and then they'll drag them out of the front of the hive. And I have another one over here. So I already blew smoke under the lid. They do have a ventilated inner cover, so I'm going to take this outer cover off. No problems with beetles or wax moth under the lid. Let's see, we have a very good, looks like a good coverage of bees. But let me see if I can pull some frames out here and at least see if we can find a queen. I try to use the smoker only to keep the bees away from the end bars so they don't get pinched. I'm going to start from the farthest frame down here, so I'm going to push these together. Now when I push these frames together, I want to make sure the bees aren't in between the frames. So outer frame is typical of food frame. I'm going to pull these rubber bands off. Okay, so it's pretty much, again, just a food frame. I did make sure the queen is not on this frame. Again, I like to move really slow. There's no hurry. We're really not using smoke on the bees. The bees are very gentle. When I put my hands over, they're not coming up. And take the time. I try to look at the bee's wings. Are the bee's wings deformed? I don't see any signs of eggs or larvae. So this second frame is mainly nectar pollen. No eggs or larvae. No queen that I've seen. Again, mostly empty cells on this side. Hey, we have a queen. I don't know if you can see her. She's very blonde. Not too big, not too thick. So she could be a newly emerged queen. So mission accomplished. Right now I can close this hive up. They have a queen in there. You may have seen her. She's a little bit on the thin side. They do have some rubber bands on the screen bottom that I kind of want to pull out, so I'll probably remove a couple more frames. So that's not too bad, and that's not counting what's still on the screen bottom board. These bees have really good genetics by the seams. They're very busy. We did see a queen, so the only issue is that right now she hasn't had any signs of laying. So I don't know if she's mated yet, or if she's not fully mated. It has been really rainy here, so the chances of successful great mating is probably slim to none. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to keep a close eye. In 2 weeks, I expect to come back and find some, frames of brood and eggs and larvae. I only went maybe 4 or 5 frames in. I did not check the other frames on the right side of the box. So my next inspection, I'll start on this side over here. So that was all, just short and sweet. Just wanted to make sure if there was a queen, yes or no. The answer is yes, there's a queen, but to be continued. It's still questionable as to how successfully mated she was. I reduced her entrance for them.